Safe driving is the responsibility of all individuals who operate a vehicle on New Jersey roads. The rules of the road must be obeyed at all times and laws must be strictly followed. A motorist must ensure the safety of all passengers who are riding in his/her vehicle and be mindful of the other motorists who share the road each day. Buckle up. New Jersey's seat belt law. Under state law, the driver and all passengers of a passenger vehicle, e.g., car, van, pickup truck, and SUV, must wear a seat belt. The failure of a driver, front seat passenger and children under age 18 to wear a seat belt is a primary offense. The driver is responsible for all passengers under age 18. Front seat passengers 18 years of age and over are responsible for themselves. A police officer can stop a motorist solely for a violation of the seat belt law. Under a secondary law, all unbuckled back seat occupants 18 years of age and older may be issued a summons if the vehicle is stopped for another reason. Motorists with GDL permits or probationary licenses must use seat belts. Additionally, they must require all passengers seated anywhere in the vehicle to use seat belts. NJSA 39-3-76.2 F 39-3-13 39-3-13.2a 39-3-13.4 The exemptions are any passenger vehicle manufactured before July 1, 1966, a passenger vehicle that is not required to be equipped with seat belt systems under federal law, or a physical or medical reason, verified in writing by a licensed physician, which makes the motorist or passenger unable to wear a seat belt. NJSA 39-3-76.2 grams. The driver of a passenger vehicle including cars, vans, pickup trucks, and utility vehicles shall secure any passenger using a wheelchair in a properly adjusted and fastened wheelchair and occupant securement device. NJSA 39-3-76.21 Seat belts can save a life and improve a motorist's chances of surviving a crash by 60%. A motorist's chances of surviving a crash are 3 to 4 times better if he/she is wearing both a seat belt and a shoulder strap. Fastening a seat belt takes only 3 seconds and reduces the chances of death or injury. Seat belts help in many ways. For example, they keep motorists and passengers from being thrown from the vehicle in a crash. If a motorist passenger is held in place, any injury may be less severe. They slow a body down with the vehicle. If a vehicle hits something, the vehicle stops but the person keeps going at the same speed that the vehicle was moving. Hitting the dashboard or windshield at 30 miles per hour is like falling from the top of a 3-story building. They keep a motorist passenger from sliding on the seat during sudden stops and turns. Belts and straps also keep a motorist in position so he/she can control the vehicle. Tips for seat belt safety: buckle up with both lap and shoulder belts on every trip. Airbags are supplemental protection for drivers. Wear the lap belt under the abdomen and low across the hips. The shoulder portion should come over the collarbone, away from the neck, and cross over the breastbone. The shoulder belt in most new vehicles can be adjusted on the side pillar to improve fit. Know how to adjust the seat belts and how to release them if motorists, passengers have to quickly get out of the vehicle. Buckle up if riding in the back seat. Use center seat belts if those seats are used. Seat belts help prevent riders from falling forward. Never put more than one person in one belt. Car seats. Traffic crashes are a leading killer of children. When riding in a vehicle, children should be held in place by a restraint system that meets all federal motor vehicle safety standards. Refer to the paragraph on child restraint law. All child restraint systems built since January 1, 1981, must be designed to pass tough safety tests. These seats carry a label that gives the date of manufacture and reads, "This child restraint system conforms to all applicable federal motor vehicle safety standards." There are many types and styles of car seats. While some seats are designed to be used facing forward once a child has reached the appropriate weight, an infant seat must never be faced forward. To do so would be very dangerous. Always check the label on a car seat to find out the size and weight of the child the seat is designed to protect. Using the car seat every time a child rides in the vehicle, and using it correctly each time, is very important for the safety of the child. Always read the instructions that come with the seat and follow them very carefully. Correct use of the car seat is the best protection a motorist can offer a child. For more information on child car seats, contact the Division of Highway Traffic Safety at 800-422-3750 or visit www.njsaferoads.com. Child Passenger Safety Law. The New Jersey Child Passenger Safety Law, NJSA 39-3-76.2a, 8-39-3-76.2a, d, states children under age 8 who are less than 57 inches 4 feet 9 inches tall must ride in either a federally approved forward-facing child passenger restraint system that is equipped with a 5-point harness in a rear seat of the motor vehicle. Once they outgrow the top height or weight recommendations made by the child passenger restraint system manufacturer, children must ride in a federally approved booster seat in a rear seat of the motor vehicle, ORB. A federally approved booster seat in a rear seat of the motor vehicle. Children under age 4 who weigh less than 40 pounds must ride in a federally approved rear-facing child passenger restraint system that is equipped with a 5-point harness in a rear seat of the motor vehicle. Once they outgrow the top height or weight recommendations posted by the manufacturer of the child passenger restraint system, children must ride in a federally approved forward-facing child passenger restraint SYS-10 that is equipped with a 5-point harness in a rear seat of the motor vehicle. ORB. In a federally approved forward-facing child passenger restraint system that is equipped with a 5-point harness in a rear seat of the motor vehicle. Children under age 2 and those who weigh less than 30 pounds must ride in a federally approved rear-facing child passenger restraint system that is equipped with a 5-point harness. All children under age 8 must be seated in a rear seat. If there are no rear seats in the motor vehicle in which the children under age 8 are riding, the children must be secured in a federally approved child passenger restraint system or booster seat in a front seat of the motor vehicle. However, children cannot be secured in a rear-facing child passenger restraint system in a front seat of any motor vehicle that is equipped with a passenger side airbag that is not disabled or turned off. Failure to comply with this law can subject a person to a fine of not less than $50 nor more than $75 plus fees and court costs. NJSA 39-3-76.2d. Note: a person operating an autocycle shall not permit a child to be a passenger in the autocycle if the child would be required to be secured in a child passenger restraint system, pursuant to NJSA 39-3-76.2a. Airbags. Airbags are standard equipment in almost all new vehicles and are designed to supplement seat belts in frontal crashes. Federal safety standards require that manufacturers equip all new passenger cars and light trucks with airbags. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, statistics show that from 1987 to 2015, frontal airbags saved 44,869 lives. Airbags inflate at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour to protect adults in a front-end crash. An average-sized adult who is correctly belted is not likely to come in contact with the airbag until it is fully inflated. When airbags are combined with lap shoulder seat belts, they have saved many adult lives and prevented many injuries in motor vehicle crashes. However, airbags could seriously injure or kill children who are sitting in the front seat. In 1995, The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA) allowed cutoff switches in pickup trucks, sports cars, and autos with no backseat. In January 1998, it allowed repair shops and dealers to install the switches in vehicles after the appropriate application was made for people in these categories. Driver and passenger side airbags. For individuals with medical conditions when the risks of a deploying airbag exceed the risks of impacting the steering wheel, dashboard or windshield. Driver side airbags only, for individuals who cannot properly operate the vehicle and keep at least 10 inches between the center of the steering wheel and the center of the breastbone. Passenger side airbags only, for individuals who must place infants in the front seat because the vehicle has no rear seat, e.g. a pickup truck, or the rear seat is too small to hold the child rear-facing seat, or the motorist must monitor the child's medical condition, for individuals who must place children 1 to 12 years old in the front seat because the vehicle has no rear seat, or because the individual must transport more children than can be seated in the rear seat, or because the motorist must monitor the child's medical condition. For more about an airbag on-off switch or for an application to request one, call NHTSA's toll-free auto safety hotline at 800-424-9393. Information is also available online at www.nhtsa.gov. Children of any age are safest when they are belted properly in the back seat of a vehicle, especially when the vehicle is equipped with a passenger side airbag. Other safety points. Always put an infant in a rear-facing infant-child safety seat in the back seat of a vehicle with airbags. Always be sure that children 12 years old and younger ride in the back seat of the vehicle. Always make sure everyone is buckled up. A motorist can tell if his/her vehicle has an airbag by the words airbag or the letters SRS, supplemental restraint system, or SIR, supplemental inflatable restraint, on the steering wheel and dashboard panel. Manufacturers also may mark the sun visors or the sides of the open door frame with warning labels or enter a warning in the vehicle owner's manual. Car condition. It is the responsibility of all vehicle owners to ensure that their vehicles are in proper working condition. Always check your vehicle before driving and prevent problems with regular maintenance and care. Backup lights. When driving in reverse, backup lights should be on. These must be checked to make sure they are in working order. Note: it is against New Jersey law NJSA 39-3-52 to have any backup lights on while a vehicle is moving forward. Brakes. A motorist should be able to brake smoothly and quickly. If the vehicle pulls to one side when it stops, or a motorist feels a taut pedal or hears an unusual squealing or grinding, the brakes must be checked. With conventional disc and drum brakes, a motorist should pump them gently after driving through water to test them and dry them out. If the brakes are hit hard, they could lock up. A motorist should be able to stop within 25 feet at 20 miles per hour. This can be tried in an empty parking lot. Chalk marks can be made on the surface to see if the vehicle can stop within that distance. If a vehicle has an anti-lock braking system, ABS, the brakes can be tested by applying steady pressure to the brake pedal. A motorist should never pump an ABS or jerk the steering wheel when braking. On very soft surfaces, such as loose gravel or unpacked snow, an ABS system may actually lengthen stopping distance. In wet or slippery conditions, a motorist should still drive carefully. Always keep a safe distance from the vehicle in front and maintain a speed consistent with the road conditions. Brake lights. If a vehicle's brake lights are not working, someone may crash into the vehicle from the back. A motorist should have someone help to check the brake lights. Replace broken light covers. They may cause glare that affects the motorist in back. Headlights. Bright and dim lights must work and be properly aligned. A motorist can check them against a garage wall or on parked vehicles. Lights should be kept clean. If other motorists flash their lights while another motorist's lights are on low beam, it could be that the lights are out of line. Horn. A horn should not be overused. but a motorist should check it often to make sure it works. Use the horn to signal when passing, when coming out of a blind alley, curve or driveway, or to warn another motorist of a potentially dangerous situation. Steering on straight level roads, a vehicle should hold a straight course. The front end should not vibrate, shimmy. The steering should respond to a motorist's turn without too much play in the steering wheel. Tail lights always keep tail and side lights in working order. They signal other motorists in the dark and prevent crashes. Tires: if the motorist feels or hears any unusual thumping while driving, she should check the tires. Bumps, cuts or bad tread can cause blowouts. Tire pressure should be checked often, especially when tires are cold. A motorist should check the owner's manual or the door jamb of the driver's door to determine proper tire pressure, or should ask for advice at a service station. Properly inflated tires save money and fuel consumption. A vehicle should not be driven with tires that have less than 1/16 inch of tread, about the edge of a penny, to hold on to the road properly. Tires must match, do not mix radials with other tire types, and must have enough tread. Turn signals: a motorist should be able to hear the clicking and see the lighted arrows of turn signals flash on the dashboard. If the turn signals do not work, they must be fixed as soon as possible. A motorist should use hand signals until the turn signals are repaired. Windshield cracks or chips in a windshield could cause the windshield to break, causing a dangerous condition. Broken windshields should be repaired, or, if appropriate, replaced. A windshield should be clean at all times, inside and out. Windshield wipers should always work. A motorist can use non-freezing spray to stop windshield icing. New Jersey law prohibits add-on tinting on windshields and front side windows. NJSA 39-3-74, Snow and Ice State Law. NJSA 39-4-77.1 requires a motorist to remove snow or ice from a vehicle before driving it. If snow or ice dislodges from a moving vehicle, it could strike another vehicle or pedestrian, causing injury or property damage. A motorist is required to make all reasonable efforts to remove accumulated ice or snow from the exposed surfaces of his or her motor vehicle prior to driving it, including the hood, trunk, roof, and windshield. Any person who violates this law is subject to fines of $25 to $75, regardless of whether any snow or ice is dislodged from the vehicle. If dislodged snow or ice causes injury or property damage, fines up to $1,500 may be assessed. Carbon monoxide poisoning: the Rosa Bonilla Family Act, NJSA 39-3-10, NJSA 39-3-41, NJSA 39-3-12.6 requires the Motor Vehicle Commission to educate motorists about the dangers of carbon monoxide poisoning from motor vehicles and techniques for the safe operation and proper maintenance of a motor vehicle. Carbon monoxide (CO) is an odorless, colorless gas that is present in a vehicle's exhaust. Modern vehicles are equipped with pollution controls that greatly reduce the amount of CO that is emitted from the tailpipe. However, certain conditions can cause dangerous levels of CO to accumulate in or around a vehicle, with potentially fatal results. These conditions can include operating a vehicle with an exhaust leak or poorly tuned engine, operating a vehicle with a trunk or rear tailgate open, operating a vehicle with holes in the body of the vehicle, idling a vehicle in a garage or confined space, even with the outside garage door open, operating a vehicle with a tailpipe that is blocked by debris, including snow, leaves or water. Some of the most common symptoms of CO poisoning are listed below. It is important to understand that CO can kill even before any of these symptoms are noticed. Headache, dizziness, loss of consciousness, nausea, vomiting, chest pain, confusion. If you suspect that someone is suffering from CO poisoning, it is important to immediately remove that person from the source of the CO and call 911 for immediate medical attention. If you are in a vehicle, turn off the engine. Get out of the vehicle as soon as it is safe to do so and try to get the victim to breathe fresh air while you wait for help. Starting a parked car before getting into a vehicle. Look both behind it and in front of it. There are blind spots once a motorist is behind the wheel. Children may be there. There also may be bottles, cans, bicycles, or other things that cannot be seen from the driver's seat. Starting checklist. All windows should be clean and nothing should block a motorist's vision.
Area of forward vision, blind area area of rear view mirror, vision, left side mirror, right side mirror. The seat must be adjusted so a motorist can reach all pedals and controls easily. For most motorists, the seat may be adjusted so she is sitting an arm's length from the steering wheel. Inside and outside rearview mirrors should be adjusted. Seat belts and shoulder harnesses should be fastened so that they are firm and comfortable. The vehicle should be in park or neutral gear and the parking brake should be set. Doors should be locked. A motorist should keep good posture while driving. The seat should be adjusted so that the motorist can reach the foot pedals easily. The motorist should be comfortable behind the wheel. She should not have to strain to reach the gearshift levels, turn signals or dashboard controls. A motorist is properly positioned when she can see clearly and can glance to the rear. If a motorist wears glasses, she should adjust them. More than 95% of the information a motorist needs is visual. To fight glare at night, colored lenses should be avoided as they distort color. Anti-reflective coatings should be used on lenses. This will help eliminate internal reflections in eyeglasses and may help night driving. A motorist should have an eye checkup every 2 years. As a motorist ages, visual clarity declines and peripheral vision becomes less distinct. For example, a 60-year-old perceives light about a third as well as a 20-year-old. Inside and outside mirrors should be adjusted to reduce blind spots. These are areas where a motorist cannot see behind her vehicle on both sides through the mirror. A motorist can check this by turning her head. The outside mirror should be adjusted so that the motorist can see the tip of the driver's side front door handle in the lower right of the mirror. This will allow the motorist to see part of the lanes of traffic to the left and rear the vehicle. After starting the engine, a motorist should make sure her path is clear by turning and looking back. A motorist should not depend on rearview mirrors. A motorist must also be sure to check for pedestrians and less conspicuous vehicles, such as bicycles and mopeds. A motorist should give the proper signal and drive with caution. When on the road, a motorist can check the vehicle's mirrors by letting a vehicle pass on the left. As the passing vehicle disappears from the inside rearview mirror, a motorist should be able to see its front bumper in the outside rearview mirror. Idling your vehicle. New Jersey law requires all motorists to restrict vehicle idling to 3 minutes or less. NJAC 727-15.8 Idling more than 3 minutes is unnecessary and harmful to your vehicle and your health. Vehicle and property owners face fines of $250 to $1,000 for each violation of this law. NJSA 39-3-70.2 There are some specific situations in which a vehicle may idle for an extended time, such as when stuck in traffic, or at drive-through establishments. See www.stopthesoot.org for a complete listing of exemptions. So do not forget, idling stinks and it's against the law. Turn the key and be idle-free. Steering hand position. A motorist's grip on the steering wheel is important. The steering wheel can be thought of as the face of a clock. For normal driving, A motorist should grip the steering wheel by the outside rim at the 9 and 3 o'clock positions, keeping his/her thumb along the face of the wheel. Gripping the steering wheel as described diminishes the risk of hand, wrist, or arm injury if the airbag is deployed. A motorist should never turn the wheel while gripping it from the inside of the rim, hand facing inward. The steering wheel should be held firmly but not too tight. As steady as possible as the vehicle's speed increases. Both hands should be kept on the wheel at all times, except when shifting gears or giving hand signals. The motorist should keep the vehicle in the center of the lane that it is traveling. On a two-lane road with traffic coming toward the vehicle, the motorist should keep to the right. Once a motorist feels how the vehicle reacts to steering, he/she will be ready to practice turning, parking and other movements. It takes practice to get the feel of steering. If the vehicle has anti-lock brakes (ABS), the motorist should never violently jerk the steering wheel while braking. See previous section, Brakes, and following section. Proper braking. Hand-over-hand steering. Hand-over-hand steering permits a motorist to make steering adjustments ranging from very minor up to a half turn of the wheel, while keeping both hands on the wheel. If turning through a slight curve, both hands will typically retain their original grip on the wheel. Making only slight finger or wrist adjustments is necessary to maintain the path of travel. However, when moving through a turn, the hands may move as much as 165 degrees. The motorist initiates the turn by pushing the wheel up from the 9 or 3 o'clock position toward 12 o'clock, and the opposite hand crosses over and down to the 9 or 3 o'clock position, as appropriate to provide input or to stabilize steering. The original hand then returns to the original start position of 9 or 3 o'clock. The process is reversed to return to a straight path. Or the wheel can be allowed to slip through the fingers, controlled slipping, to straighten when coming out of a turn, while both hands are always on the wheel to make adjustments as necessary. Hand-over-hand steering is particularly well suited for precision maneuvers, steering through curves, intersection entry and exit, and skid recovery. Stopping distances. There is no simple way to tell exactly how long it will take a vehicle to stop at a certain speed. Stopping distance depends on motorist reaction time, weather and visibility conditions, vehicle weight, brake conditions, condition and type of tires, roadway conditions, speed. One point is sure. The faster a vehicle is going, the longer it will take it to stop. When a motorist must stop quickly, speed can be the difference between life and death. Speed reaction distance. Braking distance total 10 miles per hour 11 feet 8 feet 19 feet 20 miles per hour 22 feet 31 feet 53 feet 30 miles per hour 33 feet 69 feet 102 feet 40 miles per hour 44 feet 123 feet 167 feet 50 miles per hour 55 feet 192 feet 247 feet 60 miles per hour 66 feet 277 feet 343 ft 70 miles per hour 77 feet 376 feet 453 feet. A vehicle travels 88 feet per second at 60 miles per hour. Most motorists under most traffic conditions have a typical reaction time of 3/4 second. Deceleration is approximately 14 feet per second. See Chapter 4 for more information on stopping and Chapter 5 for information about following distances and stopping at night. Proper braking. The use of brakes may seem simple, but it is not. A motorist should know the type of braking system that his/her vehicle uses. It could be a conventional drum and disc brake system or an anti-lock braking system (ABS). Whether the vehicle is front or rear-wheel drive does not determine proper braking. Many new motorists make the common mistake of slamming on the brake pedal, even if there is no emergency. The vehicle will jerk to a stop quickly and wear out brakes and tires. Steady, gentle pressure should be applied to the brake to bring the vehicle to a controlled stop. With an ABS, a motorist should not pump the brakes or violently jerk the wheel. An ABS-equipped vehicle may lose control at only 35 miles per hour if a motorist violently jerks the steering wheel and brakes. Even on dry pavement, new motorists should practice hard braking and steering in an empty parking lot or similar open space until they are accustomed to the ABS. A motorist should always use his/her right foot for both the brake and the gas pedal. If the vehicle is equipped with a manual transmission, the left foot should be used for the clutch. 53 Driver responsibility. The New Jersey Driver Manual (WWW) driving signals. A motorist should always give a proper signal when turning, changing lanes, stopping or slowing down. A motorist should always use the vehicle's turn signals. A motorist should put on the turn signal at least 100 feet before turning and be sure to cancel the signal after making a turn. Not doing so could mislead other motorists. NJSA 39-4-126 New Jersey law requires a motorist to know the correct hand signals for stopping and turning, which are standard in all states. To give a hand signal, a motorist should put his/her arm well out of the vehicle so that it is visible to other motorists. Stop or slowing down, hand and arm downward, palm facing to the rear. Right turn, hand and arm upward. Left turn, hand and arm straight out. Another signal is the horn, which is a warning signal. It calls attention to what the motorist is doing. Motorists may sound the horn when passing another vehicle when not in a business or residential zone. Under normal conditions, the horn should be able to be heard for at least 200 feet. NJSA 39-3-69 Only emergency vehicles may use sirens, whistles or bells. Bicyclists, skateboarders, and inline skaters also use the hand signals noted above. In addition, instead of extending the left hand and arm upward to indicate a right turn, bicyclists, skateboarders, and inline skaters may extend the right hand and arm straight out to indicate a right turn. Driving in reverse. Before driving in reverse, a motorist must be sure that the path is clear. This can be done by using the mirrors and turning to check. She must be very careful because the view to the rear is limited. In reverse, turning the wheel to the right will direct the vehicle to the right. Steering to the left will direct the vehicle to the left. If a motorist does not turn the wheel while in reverse, the vehicle will move straight backward. To drive in reverse, a motorist's head and body should be turned to the right until she can see clearly through the back window of the vehicle without the use of mirrors. The motorist's right hand and arm should be placed over the back of the front passenger seat. The left hand should grasp the top of the steering wheel. This is the position a motorist should be in to reverse in a straight line, with corrections made as needed. A vehicle should be driven slowly in reverse, typically, walking speed 2 to 4 miles per hour. The motorist should not turn forward until the vehicle is totally stopped. If a motorist must turn the wheel while reversing other than in a straight line, e.g., parallel parking, Two hands must be on the wheel to steer, while a motorist's head and body is turned to look out the rear window. Palming the wheel with one hand while turning in reverse is dangerous and can result in failing the road test. A motorist should always remember that the front of the vehicle will swing in the opposite direction of a turn. A vehicle should be driven slowly in reverse. A motorist must be able to drive in reverse in order to pass the road portion of the driving test. She will be asked to back the vehicle about 100 feet in a straight line, slowly and smoothly. Note, as of August 31, 2016, backup cameras and parking sensors that have been installed on a motor vehicle are permitted to be used during the road test. However, driving in reverse principles apply first and foremost. Turning to make safe turns, a motorist should decide well in advance where she wants to turn. Last-minute turns can be unsafe. State law requires a motorist to move to the proper lane and signal at least 100 feet before making any turn. The faster the traffic is moving, the sooner a motorist should plan his/her turn. If a turn is missed, a motorist should never back up. It is better to take the next turn than to risk a crash. Before turning, a motorist should always use the mirrors to look behind and to both sides for other vehicles or people to see if it is safe to turn. Check for less visible vehicles, such as motorcycles, bicycles, and mopeds. Signal first, use turn signals or hand signals, and then move into the proper lane. Slow down before reaching an intersection. Keep a steady speed and follow pavement markings. Always stay in the same lane until the turn is finished. Make sure the turn signal is turned off after the turn is completed. The 3-point turn K-turn when turning a vehicle around. A motorist should start from the right edge of the road. Choose a safe spot with a good visibility in both directions. If there is no other traffic, the motorist should signal left and move forward slowly while turning the steering wheel to the left. The vehicle should be stopped several inches from the left curb or street edge. The motorist should then back up slowly while turning the steering wheel to the right, stopping several inches from the right curb or street edge. The motorist should next move the vehicle forward while turning the steering wheel to the left. Finally, the motorist should straighten the vehicle's wheels as it faces in the direction she wants to go. This is a complete 3-point or K-turn. A new motorist will be required to make this turn during MVC's road test. 3-point turn BDMN_3PT_turn_110,907-3. Parking. When parking, a motorist should always set the brake and put the vehicle in park or, with a manual transmission, in reverse or low gear. There are several important steps for a motorist to follow when parking his/her vehicle on a street with a curb, when parking a vehicle facing downhill. The handbrake should be set and the vehicle's wheels should be turned toward the curb. The vehicle should be in park or, with a manual transmission, in reverse. When parking a vehicle facing uphill, the handbrake should be set and the vehicle's wheels should be turned away from the curb. The vehicle should be in park or, with a manual transmission, in low. Angle parking. Angle parking is often used in parking lots of shopping centers and sometimes at curbs. A motorist should follow these rules when entering an angle parking space to his/her right. Watch for traffic both ahead and behind. Signal and begin to slow down. Make sure the rear of the vehicle will clear the parked vehicles. Steer sharply into the parking space. And then straighten the wheels centering the vehicle in the parking space. Shift to park, or reverse if standard transmission, and apply the parking brake. A motorist should follow these rules before backing out of an angle parking space. Walk around to make sure nothing is in the vehicle's way. Slowly move the vehicle in reverse and be sure that the lane is clear of traffic. Tap the horn to warn nearby pedestrians. When able to see past the tops of the vehicles parked next to the vehicle, stop and look again. 57 Driver. Look back and to each side for other motorists. Remember that the front of the vehicle will swing opposite of the direction of the turn. Back up slowly while turning until the vehicle's left front wheel passes the rear bumper of the vehicle parked on the left. Straighten the wheels as the vehicle comes back into the lane of traffic. Parallel parking. Parallel parking is the most common type of parking on city streets. A motorist must be able to parallel park a vehicle in order to pass the MVC's road test. This takes the most practice for a new motorist. A motorist should practice often. In an empty parking lot at first. Flags or markers 25 feet apart may be used to show where the other vehicles would be. If a motorist hits the flags or markers, she is not ready for parking between real vehicles and should keep practicing. The slower and smoother a motorist backs into a parking space, the easier it is to park. To properly parallel park, a motorist should find a parking space that is large enough to fit the vehicle. Signal for a stop and signal to the right to alert motorists that the vehicle will back up to the right. Pull up alongside parallel about 2 to 4 feet from the vehicle in front. Turn and check to see that the way is clear behind the vehicle before backing up. Turn her body to look out the rear window of the vehicle. Begin backing up slowly for about 2 feet and turn the steering wheel all the way to the right. When the front of the vehicle has cleared the rear bumper of the vehicle in front, stop and check the angle. Make sure the right back wheel has not hit the curb. Turn the steering wheel all the way to the left while beginning to back up slowly. Make sure the vehicle can clear its back bumper. When the vehicle is in line, stop. Be sure not to hit the vehicle in back. Turn the vehicle's wheels straight, and drive to the center of the parking space. The vehicle's tires should be no more than 6 inches from the curb. Parallel parking. PRND 321 Speed control. Exceeding the speed limit is a common contributing factor of fatal and other types of crashes. A motorist must always obey the speed limit. Speed affects almost everything that can happen when driving. A good rule is to keep up with the flow of traffic at any legal speed. In order to make safe emergency stops when necessary, it is important to keep enough distance from surrounding traffic. New Jersey law sets top speed limits for any given road, street, highway or freeway. 25 speed limits 25 miles per hour school zones. Business or residential districts 35 speed limits 35 miles per hour suburban business and residential districts 50 speed limits 50 miles per hour non-posted rural roadways 55 speed limits 55 miles per hour certain state highways as posted and interstates 65 speed limits 65 miles per hour certain interstate highways as posted. Motorists pay double fines for exceeding the 65 miles per hour limit by 10 miles per hour or more. Double fines also apply to most other moving violations committed in a 65 miles per hour zone. NJSA 30 New Jersey limits unless otherwise posted. NJSA 39 to 4-98 never drive faster than weather, road, or other conditions safely allow, regardless of the posted speed limit. A motorist should judge her speed control by existing conditions. A motorist should slow down enough to be able to see clearly and stop quickly in traffic. Failure to do so can result in a moving violation. Always slow down, on narrow or winding roads. at intersections or railroad crossings, on hills, at sharp or blind curves, where there are pedestrians or driving hazards, when the road is wet or slippery, if vehicle problems prevent a motorist from keeping up with the normal flow of traffic. She should pull off the road and activate hazard lights. Driving too slowly. A motorist should always try to keep up with the normal flow of traffic, while not exceeding the posted speed limit. Some crashes are caused by driving too slowly and backing up traffic. When road surfaces and traffic are normal, New Jersey law prohibits blocking traffic through slow driving. NJSA 39-4-56 Safe Corridors NJSA 39-4-203.5 In an effort to improve highway safety, New Jersey initiated the Safe Corridors program, which was signed into law in July 2003. The Safe Corridors Law bless fines on various state highways for a variety of driving offenses, including speeding and aggressive driving. Highways are designated as safe corridors based on statistics showing crash rates 50% over the state rate and 1,000 or more crashes reported over a 3-year period. The Commissioner of Transportation has the authority to designate safe corridors as necessary, as well as to remove those that show improved safety levels. A current list of safe corridor highways is available on the New Jersey Department of Transportation website at Passing. A motorist must know the proper lane for normal driving and how to change lanes safely. The rules for passing depend on the type of road. Stay to the right of the roadway's center lines. Passing is only safe when there is no oncoming traffic. Watch for the following lane markings. NJSA 39-4-86, both center lines are solid, no passing allowed. One center line is broken. Passing is allowed only on the side with the broken line. Both center lines are broken, passing is allowed on both sides. Note, all passing must be completed before the center lines are solid again. Pass only when safe. Passing. Pass when line is broken. BDMN_passing _110907. No passing with double solid lines. Most passing should be on the left. Passing on the right is allowed only on roads with more than one lane going in the same direction. If vehicles on the roadway are moving in two or more substantially continuous lines, or when the motorist ahead is making a left turn and there is room to pass. Never pass on the right shoulder of the road. This is against the law. NJSA 39-4-85, a motorist should not pass, on a hill or curve or at any time she cannot see far enough ahead. At a street crossing or intersection. At a railroad crossing. On narrow bridges or in underpasses or tunnels. When a sign prohibits passing or center lines restrict passing. When behind a vehicle that has stopped to let a pedestrian cross. Keeping to the right. The laws of New Jersey require motorists to keep to the right, except when passing. Motorists must drive on the right half of the roadway unless driving on a one-way street. Motorists must drive a vehicle as close as possible to the right-hand edge or curb of the roadway. Except when overtaking and passing another vehicle. NJSA 39-4-82 on a multi-lane roadway. Motorists must drive in the lane nearest to the right-hand edge or curb of the roadway when the lane is available for travel, except when overtaking another vehicle or in preparation for a left turn. NJSA 39-4-88 yielding the right-of-way. Although laws govern the right-of-way, a motorist should always be prepared to yield. These basic rules always apply. Emergency vehicles when police cars, fire engines, and ambulances are giving warning signs, sirens, flashing lights. Trains when a train is approaching a railroad crossing. buses when re-entering the flow of traffic, postal vehicles when the vehicle re-enters the flow of traffic, motorized or mobility assistance devices when in a crosswalk or seeking to cross a road, other vehicles that are already in the intersection. Pedestrians in a crosswalk. New Jersey has experienced a large number of pedestrian injury crashes and fatalities, as compared to the nation as a whole. The most important pedestrian safety message for New Jersey residents is, pedestrian safety is a shared responsibility. There is no single cause of crashes involving pedestrians. Pedestrians and motorists must all do their part to keep pedestrians safe. A motorist must stop for pedestrians in crosswalks. Failure to stop carries a fine of up to $500, up to 25 days in jail, community service, a driving privilege suspends scion of up to 6 months, and 2 points. NJSA 39-4-36, watch for pedestrians when turning on red. Obey speed limits. Be sure not to block or park in crosswalks. Keep the vehicle's windshield clean for maximum visibility. Be alert for pedestrians at all times. Be aware of areas where pedestrians are most likely to appear, near schools, town centers, residential neighborhoods, parks. Never pass another vehicle that has stopped for a pedestrian. Stop for all pedestrians in a crosswalk even if they began crossing with a proper signal and they are still in the crosswalk when the signal changes. Remember that pedestrians are the most vulnerable roadway users. Motor ISDS will be held responsible for maintaining pedestrian safety. Intersections. An intersection is where two or more roads cross or merge at angles. As most crashes occur at intersections, a motorist should be aware of the 4 types of intersections and know how to safely navigate through them. A single solid white line across a road at an intersection means that a motorist must stop behind the line for a traffic signal or sign. Controlled. An intersection is controlled if there are traffic signals or signs in any direction or controlled by a police officer. A motorist must obey the signals and signs. At a controlled intersection, a motorist must yield for certain conditions. At a multi-way stop or stop intersection, a motorist must yield to the motorist on the right if both motorists get there at the same time. A motorist should also yield to another motorist already stopped at the intersection. At an intersection controlled by a yield sign, a motorist must slow down and yield to traffic on the intersecting roadway, even if she has to stop. When making a left turn at an intersection, a motorist must yield to oncoming traffic and stop for pedestrians within the crosswalk. A motorist is prohibited from entering or crossing an intersecting street marked with a stop sign unless he or she first brings the vehicle to a complete stop at a point within 5 feet of the nearest crosswalk or stop line marked upon the pavement at the near side of the intersection street. The motorist may only proceed after yielding the right-of-way to all traffic on the intersection street, which is so close as to constitute an immediate hazard. Note: driving on private property to avoid a traffic signal or sign is a motor vehicle violation. NJSA 39-4-66.2 Uncontrolled. An intersection is uncontrolled when 2 or more roads join and there is no traffic signal or regulatory device. A motorist must be very careful when approaching these types of intersections. Most of the time there will be a warning sign prior to reaching the intersection. As a motorist nears a crossroad that is not controlled, she must reduce speed and be ready to stop if any traffic is coming from the right or left. A motorist coming from a private road or driveway must yield to all traffic on the main road. As a general rule, the vehicle on the left should yield to the vehicle on the right. When a traffic signal is not illuminated because of a power failure or other malfunction, the traffic signal is observed as a four-way stop signal. NJSA 39-4-81 blind line of sight buildings. Parked vehicles or bushes may obstruct a motorist's line of sight. On rural roadways, trees or crops may obstruct a motorist's line of sight. A motorist should always slow down or stop completely to make sure there is no cross traffic before proceeding. Traffic circle. There are no set rules for driving into, around and out of a traffic circle in New Jersey. Common sense and caution must prevail at all times. In most cases, the circle's historically established traffic flow pattern dictates who has the right of way. If a major highway flows into and through the circle, it usually dominates the traffic flow pattern and commands the right of way. Traffic control signs, such as stop or yield signs, at the entrances to the circle also govern which motorist has the right of way. Never enter a traffic circle without checking all signs and determining the intentions of the motorists already moving within the circle. Whenever a motorist is in doubt concerning who has the right of way in a circle, she should exercise extreme caution and remember the basic rule governing any uncontrolled intersection. The vehicle to the left yields the right of way to the vehicle approaching from the right. Entering highways, parkways, and turnpikes. Highways, parkways, and turnpikes are high-speed up to 65 miles per hour divided roadways and generally have multiple lanes. Traffic on each side of the divide will travel in only one direction. There are no direct intersections. Motorists enter these roadways by way of acceleration lanes, which are extra lanes at highway entrances used by motorists to speed up to join the flow of traffic. A motorist must yield to traffic already traveling on the main road before moving into the proper lane. Keep the following points in mind when entering a highway, parkway or turnpike. Obey posted advisory speed limits, if any, at the entrance ramp. Speed up to the flow of traffic when leaving the acceleration lane. Avoid coming to a complete stop in the acceleration lane. Yield to traffic and enter the right-hand lane when safe. Leaving highways, parkways, and turnpikes. In most cases, exit ramps or deceleration lanes, which are extra lanes at a highway exit, are located on the right-hand side of the roadway. A motorist should always watch for signs that direct where to exit the roadway. If a motorist misses an exit ramp on a highway, parkway, or turnpike, she should go to the next exit. Keep the following points in mind when leaving a highway, parkway or turnpike. Start slowing down when entering a deceleration lane. Obey the posted advisory speed limit of the deceleration lane. 69 Safe Driving and Regulations. The New Jersey Driver Manual www.njmvc. Gov. Merging lanes. Use turn signal. Speed up to flow of traffic. Slow to speed limit of exit lane. Use turn signal. Avoid stopping in the entry and exit lanes. Avoid stopping in the entry and exit lanes when the exit is located on the left of a roadway. Look for signs that will direct traffic to the proper lane for exiting. If you miss an exit, go on to the next one. Never back up on an exit ramp or deceleration lane. Special highway, parkway, and turnpike conditions. Weave lane. A weave lane is both an entrance and an exit for an expressway. Traffic may come onto and leave the expressway at the same location. This traffic weave causes conflicts, both for motorists using a weave lane and those on the expressway and entrance ramp, in terms of speed and space adjustments. The motorist entering from the entrance ramp must yield the right-of-way to the motorist leaving the expressway. Highways through cities, the volume of traffic may increase dramatically. Speeds may slow to a crawl. The motorist should drive in the left or center lane to avoid merge conflicts during rush hour. A motorist should search for exits early and adjust position for exit. Disabled vehicles. When seeing a disabled vehicle ahead, a motorist should reduce speed and increase the space between his/her vehicle and the disabled vehicle. This may involve changing lanes. Be alert for pedestrians, tow trucks, and/or police vehicles. See New Jersey's "Move Over" law later in this chapter. If a motorist's vehicle becomes disabled, he/she must pull off as far as possible onto the shoulder or median. Turn on emergency flashers. Raise the hood to signal for assistance. Stay in the vehicle, keep your seatbelt on and lock the doors. If available, use a cell phone to call for help. Ask anyone who stops to go to a phone and call for assistance. Not get into a stranger's vehicle. Construction areas. A motorist should always stay alert for construction area warning signs. When coming across these areas, a motorist should adjust speed and adjust position to maintain space around his/her vehicle. Toll booths. A motorist should stay alert for toll booth signs and begin reducing speed early, as traffic may be backed up at the booth. Green lights or signals highlight open booths. A motorist should be aware of easy pass booths and lanes, including high-speed easy pass lanes. When exiting toll booths, a motorist should search traffic to both sides for merging potential, accelerate smoothly and adjust speed. Highways through cities. The volume of traffic may increase dramatically. Speeds may slow to a crawl. The motorist should drive in the left or center lane to avoid merge conflicts during rush hour. A motorist should search for exits early and adjust position for exit. Disabled vehicles. When seeing a disabled vehicle ahead, a motorist should reduce speed and increase the space between his/her vehicle and the disabled vehicle. This may involve changing lanes. Be alert for pedestrians, tow trucks, and/or police vehicles. See New Jersey's "Move Over" law later in this chapter. If a motorist's vehicle becomes disabled, he/she must pull off as far as possible onto the shoulder or median. Turn on emergency flashers. Raise the hood to signal for assistance. Stay in the vehicle, keep your seatbelt on and lock the doors. If available, use a cell phone to call for help. Ask anyone who stops to go to a phone and call for assistance. Not get into a stranger's vehicle. Construction areas. A motorist should always stay alert for construction area warning signs. When coming across these areas, a motorist should adjust speed and adjust position to maintain space around his/her vehicle. Toll booths. A motorist should stay alert for toll booth signs and begin reducing speed early, as traffic may be backed up at the booth. Green lights or signals highlight open booths. A motorist should be aware of easy pass booths and lanes, including high-speed easy pass lanes. When exiting toll booths, a motorist should search traffic to both sides for merging potential. Accelerate smoothly and adjust speed. Curves. It is important for a motorist to adjust steering and speed when approaching a curve in the road. The best way to enter a curve is to slow down before entering and avoid drifting into another lane. A motorist should always watch for vehicles that may drift into his/her lane as well. Check for curve ahead warning signs and recommended speeds. Interchanges. Divided roadways are built for express traffic. To ease traffic flow, there are usually no traffic lights or direct intersections. To enter or exit such an expressway, a cloverleaf turn is often necessary. A motorist should watch for entrance and exit signs and drive slowly in the circle, obeying the posted speed limit. Turning regulations: right turn on red unless a no turn on red sign is posted. New Jersey law authorizes a right turn on a red light after a motorist comes to a full stop and checks for traffic. A motorist must yield to all oncoming traffic and pedestrians before turning right at a red light. Difficult to see vehicles, such as bicycles and mopeds, may have a green light. So it is important for a motorist to be aware of their presence. NJSA 39-4-115 always use a proper turn signal at least 100 feet before making any turn and cancel the signal after completing the turn. NJSA 39-4-126 right turns. NJSA 39-4-123 to make a safe right turn, a motorist should approach the intersection as far to the right as possible, keeping near to the curb or parked vehicles. The motorist should not swing outward or into another lane while making the right turn. She should drive up to the turn as far to the right as possible, keeping close to the right curb or parked vehicles at the curb. Proper vehicle positioning prior to a right turn reduces the chance of another vehicle being in the space on the right as the motorist makes the turn. She should not swing into the wrong lane while making the turn. Left turns, two vehicles. When two vehicles meet at an intersection and both have signaled to turn left, extra caution must be applied. When safe, each motorist should turn to the left of the center of the intersection. Left turn from a one-way road onto a one-way road, approaching the turn in the left lane. The motorist should turn into the left lane of the road she is entering. Left turn from a two-way road onto a two-way road. Approach the turn as close as possible to the line nearest to the center of the road. When turning, the vehicle should not cross lane markings. The motorist should keep to the right of the center of the line of the road that the vehicle is entering. Left turns, between intersections, solid lines show when not to pass. However, these lines may be crossed with care when entering or leaving driveways in business or residential areas. Left turn from a two-way road onto a four-lane highway. Approach the turn as close to the center line to the right side of the road as possible. Make the turn before reaching the center of the intersection. Yield to oncoming traffic. Don't cut corners. Do not cross dividing line. BDMN_right_turn_110,907 Slow down. It is important not to cross lane markings. The motorist should turn into the lane nearest the center line of the right side of the other road. This is the passing lane of the four-lane highway. When traffic permits, the motorist should move to the right, out of the passing lane. Stopping regulations: signs, signals, and traffic rules indicate when a motorist must stop. A motorist must be careful when traveling through an intersection and exercise caution when proceeding. Yield to oncoming traffic. Use turn signal. Don't turn wide from a red light after the light turns green. There may be other vehicles coming through or still in the intersection. Most crashes at traffic signals happen in the first few seconds after the light has changed. When a yellow light follows a green light, a motorist must stop before entering the intersection. Unless yellow appears when the vehicle is too close to stop safely. If the light changes while a driver is already in the intersection, she should go through with caution. Be alert for a stale green light. This is a light that has been green for some time. Be prepared for it to change to yellow and then to red. Slow down and stop accordingly. A motorist must stop At an intersection with a stop sign. At an intersection with a red light either flashing or illuminated. At an intersection with a yellow light after a green light. Unless too close to stop safely. When a traffic officer orders the vehicle to stop. When there is a yield sign and traffic does not permit a safe merge. When a school bus is picking up or letting off children and/or the red lights are flashing. When coming from an alley, private driveway or building. At a bridge span that is about to open for boat traffic. For a blind pedestrian using a white or metallic walking cane, or a trained guide dog. Or a guide dog instructor engaged in instructing a guide dog. For a pedestrian in a crosswalk or at an intersection. For a motorized wheelchair or mobility assistance device in a crosswalk or at an intersection. Single white lines show motorists where to stop at stop signs or traffic signals. Stop at railroad crossings to ensure public safety. The New Jersey Department of Transportation (NJDOT) and railroads mark public highway rail grade crossings, also known as railroad crossings with one or more warning devices. Warning devices include advance warning signs, pavement markings in front of a railroad crossings, flashing red lights usually on railroad crossing signs, gates or gates with flashing red lights, ringing bells, and flag signals. A motorist must stop at least 15 feet from a railroad crossing when there are flashing red lights, ringing bells, descending or lowered gates, or flag signals. Flashing red lights, ringing bells, descending gates or gates that have already been lowered indicate that a train is coming and a motorist must stop. A motorist should never cross until the gates have been raised. The bells have stopped ringing and the red lights have stopped flashing. NJSA 39-4-127.1 Never race a train. A motorist can underestimate the speed and distance of trains. Most trains need more than a mile to stop if traveling at 60 miles per hour or more. Special circumstances, some vehicles, such as school buses, or vehicles carrying hazardous materials must always stop at railroad crossing. When driving behind one of these vehicles, a motorist must be prepared to stop, even if the signals do not indicate a train is coming. A motorist should never stop his/her vehicle on railroad tracks. When crossing railroad tracks, a motorist should make sure there is room on the other side to get completely across. If warning devices activate while a motorist is crossing railroad tracks, he/she should immediately proceed to the other side. Stop for school buses NJSA 39-4-128.1 A motorist must stop for a school bus with flashing red lights. State law requires a motorist to stop at least 25 feet away if he/she is traveling on a two-lane road or on a multi-lane highway where lanes are only separated by lines, or on a privately maintained road. When traveling on a dual-lane highway, a motorist should slow to 10 miles per hour if on the other side of a safety island or raised median. School buses are equipped with yellow or amber and red flashing lights. The yellow or amber lights go on before the bus stops and the red lights go on when the bus has stopped. However, a motorist should not depend on these lights if driving behind a school bus. They could be malfunctioning when a school bus stops. All motorists traveling behind or approaching the bus must stop their vehicles at least 25 feet away. A motorist should only proceed after the bus signals have been turned off, and even then, he/she must watch for children or persons who have developmental disabilities. If a school bus has stopped directly in front of a school to pick up or let off children or persons with developmental disabilities, a motorist may pass from either direction at a speed of no more than 10 miles per hour. School bus cars must stop 25 feet away from school bus stop for frozen dessert trucks NJSA 39-4-128.4 when approaching or overtaking an ice cream or frozen dessert truck from either direction, and the truck is flashing red lights and posting a stop signal arm. A motorist must yield the right of way to any person who is crossing the roadway to or from the truck. Watch out for children and be prepared to stop, and then drive past the truck at a speed of no more than 15 miles per hour. A motorist need not stop on a dual highway if she is on the other side of a safety island or raised median. Pull over and stop for emergency vehicles. New Jersey law requires all motorists to yield to emergency vehicles when emergency vehicles sound sirens and/or flashing red and/or blue emergency lights. A motorist should steer to the extreme right of the roadway, stop and wait for the emergency vehicle to pass. Afterward, the motorist should keep at least 300 feet behind a signaling emergency vehicle. NJSA 39-4-92 police cars, fire trucks, ambulances or other emergency vehicles have sirens and red lights. Private vehicles operated by volunteer fire and rescue squad members with emergency vehicle identification responding to an emergency call use blue lights. A motorist should never park within 200 feet of a fire department vehicle in service or drive over a fire hose unless directed to do so by a fire, emergency rescue or police official. Move over law. New Jersey's move over law requires all motorists approaching a stationary, authorized emergency vehicle, tow truck, highway maintenance or other emergency service vehicle that is displaying a flashing, blinking or alternating red, blue, amber or yellow light, or a configuration of lights containing one of these colors, to change lanes, safety and traffic conditions permitting, into a lane not adjacent to the stationary emergency vehicle. If a lane change is impossible, prohibited by law or unsafe, the motorist must reduce the speed of his/her vehicle to a reasonable and proper speed that is lower than the posted speed limit and be prepared to stop, if necessary. Motorists who violate this law face a fine of not less than $100 and not more than $500. NJS message from the Attorney General. For many people, being pulled over by a police officer while driving a vehicle can be a stressful event. In order to make the traffic stop as safe and pleasant as possible for all involved, here are some important tips. Pull over in a safe place as soon as possible. Be courteous. Mutual respect between the officer and the driver is expected and encouraged. Have your license, insurance card and registration in a place you can easily access. Turn down your music. If you are stopped at night, turn on your dome and/or interior lights. This will increase the visibility inside your vehicle so the officer will be less concerned about what he or she can't see. Roll down your window. Keep your hands visible, preferably on the steering wheel. Do not make sudden movements, particularly if the movements involve reaching into areas not visible to the officer. If you have to reach for something, wait for the officer to come to your vehicle and tell the officer what you are planning to do before you do it. Stay calm and communicate with the officer. Using headlights. Proper use of headlights is critical to safe driving. Headlights must be used between 1/2 hour after sunset and 1/2 hour before sunrise. Headlights must also be used when visibility is 500 feet or less, when using windshield wipers during rain, snow, and ice, or when encountering fog, mist, smoke, or other factors that reduce visibility. NJSA 39-3-46 being able to see clearly while driving is very important. A vehicle's lights should always be in good working order and clean. Headlights help other motorists see approaching vehicles. Parking or auxiliary lights cannot legally be used in place of headlights when headlights are required. Bright and dim headlights have two sets of beams, bright high and dim low, which are controlled by a switch or button on or near the dashboard. The bright beam is for open country driving when there is no traffic in sight. The bright beam helps a motorist see farther ahead and peripherally or at a wider angle. At night, a motorist's pupils are dilated, allowing more light to aid in the ability to see. Bright beams can momentarily blind other motorists by constricting the pupils and should not be used if other vehicles are approaching or when driving behind another vehicle. It can take 3 to 5 seconds for a motorist to recover from the glare of approaching high-beam headlights. At a speed of 50 miles per hour, a motorist will have traveled the length of a football field while being unable to see. If a vehicle is approaching with high beams, a motorist should look to the right of the road until the vehicle passes. Never flash high beams at an approaching motorist. The dim beams are used for city driving and driving in traffic on roadways. Dim beams are focused down on the road. Dim beams are used when traveling behind other vehicles or when another vehicle is approaching. Other types of lights. Parking lights. Parking lights are to be used for a short period of time, such as when a vehicle is left in a permitted zone, to show other motorists where a vehicle is parked. Parking lights are required on vehicles parked in areas other than business or residential zones. Tail lights. Tail lights turn on at the same time as a vehicle's headlights and parking lights. They become brighter when a motorist applies the brakes to show that she is slowing or stopping. During the day, without headlights, the tail lights also turn on as a motorist applies the brakes. Brake lights. Brake lights become brighter when a motorist applies the brakes, showing that the vehicle is slowing or stopping. Interim overhead lights, found inside the vehicle. These types of lights should be used only briefly, when necessary, when driving or to comply with a police officer's request to illuminate the motorist's compartment of the vehicle when stopped. Dashboard lights. If dashboard lights are too bright, they may create a glare for the motorist and impede vision. The lights should be kept dim but still light enough for a motorist to read the dials. Spotlights. Spotlights should be used only in emergencies. This also applies to emergency flashers, hazard lights. Spotlights may not be used for driving purposes. Fog lights. These auxiliary driving lights may be used with low-beam headlights to provide general lighting ahead of a motor vehicle, specifically during foggy weather conditions. NJAC 1320-32.25 Parking regulations. A motorist should always check for traffic when leaving a vehicle after parking. She should also check for bicycles or mopeds, which are sometimes difficult to see, before opening the driver's side door and exiting the vehicle. A motorist opening a door into traffic may be liable for any crash with a moving vehicle. It is safer for passengers to exit a parked vehicle from the curbside. A motorist should read parking signs before parking on a city street to be aware of restrictions or time limits. It is illegal for a vehicle to be parked more than 6 inches from the curb. NJSA 39-4-135 Never park where a vehicle will block traffic. Do not park NJSA 39-4-138 unless directed to do so by a police officer or to avoid a crash. A motorist should never stop or park at any of the following places. 83 Safe driving on a crosswalk, between a safety zone for pedestrians and the adjacent curb or within 20 feet of the end of the safety zone. Near properly marked street construction. in a space on public or private property marked for vehicle parking for persons with a disability, unless legally authorized. On an interstate highway, on a sidewalk. In a bus stop zone. In front of a public or private driveway. Within an intersection. Within 10 feet of a fire hydrant. Within 25 feet of a crosswalk at an intersection or sideline of a street or intersection highway, except at alleys. Within 50 feet of a railroad crossing. Within 50 feet of a stop sign. Within 20 feet of the driveway entrance to any fire station and within 75 feet on the street opposite a fire station entrance. On any bridge or elevated roadway or in any tunnel. Next to another vehicle parked at the curb, double parking. In an area where parking is prohibited by municipal ordinance. In case of mechanical trouble or other emergency. A motorist should stop on the right highway shoulder and turn on emergency flashers. Cellular telephone. State law prohibits the use of handheld electronic devices such as cellular telephones while driving a motor vehicle on any public road or highway. Using a handheld cellular telephone or texting device is a primary offense. Law enforcement may stop and cite a motorist specifically for these actions. Motorists are permitted to use a hands-free cellular telephone if it does not interfere with any federally required safety equipment or with the safe operation of the vehicle. Although the use of a hands-free cellular telephone is legal, it is strongly discouraged. A handheld cellular telephone may be used only in certain emergency situations, which include fire, traffic crash, serious road hazard, medical emergency, hazardous material emergency. Motorists in the above-mentioned circumstances must keep one hand on the steering wheel while using a handheld telephone. To prove legal use of a handheld telephone while operating a motor vehicle, a motorist may be asked to produce testimony or written statements from appropriate authorities, or telephone records. The fine for breaking this law is $200 to $400 for a first offense. $400 to $600 for a second offense within 10 years of the first offense, $600 to $800 for a third offense within 10 years of the second offense and for all subsequent offenses. A person convicted of a third or subsequent violation shall also be assessed 3 motor vehicle penalty points. NJSA 39-4-97.3. There may be a 90-day license suspension as well. Kulish's, Kubert's and Bowley's Law, enacted in 2012, establishes illegal use of a cell phone while driving as recklessness under the Vehicular Homicide (NJSA 2C 11-5) and assault by auto (NJSA 2C 12-1) statutes. The intent and effect of this law is to make it easier for prosecutors to obtain convictions for vehicular homicide or assault by auto against a person who illegally uses a cell phone while driving, and, as result, kills or injures someone. A graduated driver license (GDL) holder may not use a handheld or hands-free cellular telephone, or any other handheld electronic device, when behind the wheel. Doing so is a violation of GDL restrictions. NJSA 39-3-13, 39-3-13.2a, 39-3-13.4. A school bus driver may not use a handheld or hands-free cellular telephone while operating a school bus, except in an emergency situation or when the school bus is parked in a safe area off of a highway. NJSA littering. Throwing trash, debris or rubbish from a moving or parked vehicle is illegal. Litter is a safety hazard and an eyesore. Fines of up to $1,000 may be imposed on motorists found throwing dangerous objects from a vehicle onto a roadway. If the vehicle is moving when litter is thrown, the motorist may lose his/her license. All trash, debris or rubbish carried in a vehicle must be covered to keep it from littering the roadway. Prevent a crash. Most crashes are caused by motorist error. A motorist can reduce the chances of a crash by knowing and using the standard crash prevention formula: be alert, never think the other motorist will not make a driving mistake. Be prepared. Learn what to do in any situation when you have to act fast, and always expect the unexpected. Act in time, try not to panic. Know what to do if something happens suddenly. Aggressive driving, road rage. Emotions can greatly affect a motorist's ability to drive. If a motorist is angry or excited, she should take time to cool off. Aggressive driving is a progression of unlawful driving actions including, but not limited to, unexpectedly altering the speed of a vehicle, making improper or erratic traffic lane changes, disregarding traffic control devices, failing to yield the right-of-way and following another vehicle too closely. Unexpectedly altering the speed of a vehicle is counterproductive to the goal of safely operating a motor vehicle. The speed limit should always be obeyed, as failure to do so can result in crashes, injuries, and even fatalities. Though some people may assume that it is safer to go slower than the other vehicles, it is actually important to keep up with the flow of traffic, as doing so helps create a safe environment for all those on the road. Making improper and/or erratic traffic lane changes can result in crashes, and so, when attempting to change lanes, it is imperative that the rear and side view mirrors are utilized, the turn signals are properly and responsibly used, and that ample warning time is provided to other drivers in advance of any lane change. Additionally, the vehicle should be kept in the center of the lane at all times, as veering to either side can disrupt the safe flow of traffic, cause drivers to swerve, and ultimately result in crashes. Disregarding traffic control devices can result in crashes, and therefore, they should always be obeyed. It is important for a driver to pay attention to traffic control devices and proceed with proper protocol for a given circumstance. For example, remember to stop at red lights. A right turn on red is permissible provided there is no sign stating otherwise. However, one must first come to a full stop and yield to traffic and pedestrians. An inadequate stop or failure to yield could result in injury or fatality to the driver or pedestrians. Failing to yield the right-of-way is a common, but potentially fatal, mistake. Drivers should always yield the right-of-way, including but not limited to, encountering oncoming traffic. Keep an eye out for yield signs, school buses flashing red lights, and other situations in which a driver must yield to promote roadway safety. Following another vehicle too closely increases the chances of a crash if, for any reason, that vehicle comes to a sudden or otherwise unanticipated stop, or if driving conditions are less than ideal, be it due to external factors such as rain, snow or fog, or internal determinants like inadequate brakes. It is important to keep a safe distance between vehicles to allow sufficient reaction time and safe stopping distance. Do not tailgate. It is a good practice to use the 3-second plus rule, see following pages, to help judge sufficient following distances. Be sure to check that the vehicle brakes are always in optimal operating condition. Aggressive drivers fail to consider how their actions behind the wheel may affect other motorists on the road. When behind the wheel, a motorist should always remain calm and follow the rules of the road. Extreme cases of aggressive driving may lead to road rage. Road rage occurs when motorists lose their tempers or become frustrated because of a traffic disturbance. These aggressive motorists may run stop signs and red lights, speed, tailgate, weave through traffic, pass illegally on the right, make improper and unsafe lane changes, make hand or facial gestures, scream, honk horns or flash high beams. In extreme cases, aggressive motorists may cause a crash. New Jersey is waging a campaign against road rage. The state has specifically trained enforcement patrols to help stop aggressive motorists. To report an aggressive motorist, call 888 SAF Road or, if using a cell phone, call number 77. Note, while there are emergency exceptions to the hand-held cellular phone law, it is always safest to pull over to the side of the road before making a call. Distractions. Operating any motor vehicle requires the motorist's full attention. In many cases, crashes are caused by a distracted motorist. Inattentive motorists often tailgate, go too fast or drift out of their lanes. They ignore traffic signs and signals, road markings, potential traffic hazards, road conditions, and other vehicles. Some causes of inattentive driving are lighting a cigarette, trying to fasten a safety belt while driving, reaching across the seat to close a door or look in the glove compartment, reaching for coins in pockets while driving up to a toll booth, trying to adjust a wristwatch, watching children or pets in the vehicle, trying to remove a coat, reading maps and newspapers, eating while driving, adjusting a mirror while driving, using a cellular phone or any other electronic device, adjusting the radio or CD player, shaving, using a laptop computer or fax machine, applying makeup. A motorist should never do any of these things while driving. Her full attention must be on the road at all times. Tired driver, highway hypnosis. A tired driver is a dangerous driver. A tired driver cannot drive well and her reaction time is reduced. The motorist may also get upset more easily or even fall asleep behind the wheel. A tired driver can be as dangerous as a drunk driver. Maggie's Law, enacted in June 2003, makes it illegal to knowingly drive a vehicle while impaired by lack of sleep. This law establishes driving while fatigued as recklessness under the Vehicular Homicide Statute. NJSA 2C, 11-5, when a motorist has been behind the wheel for a long time, she may experience highway hypnosis. The trance-like state may be avoided by not looking at any one thing for more than a few seconds. It is also recommended that a motorist rest every 2 hours and/or share the driving with another licensed motorist. Drowsy driving. WHO is most at risk? Motorists who are sleep-deprived, driving long distances without rest breaks, driving through the night or at other times when they are normally asleep, taking medicine that increases sleepiness, or drinking alcohol, driving alone, driving on long, rural, boring roads, young people, shift workers, commercial drivers, communicating and driving. Communicate with other motorists by all available means and signals. A motorist should always stay in the lane that shows where she intends to turn. Turn signals, including hand signals, when appropriate, allow a motorist to tell other motorists what she is going to do. Another good method is catching other motorists' eyes. It may be necessary to tap the horn to warn other motorists. At night, a quick flip of the headlights from low to high and back to low might be helpful. A motorist should always be patient in town or city traffic and try not to make quick turns or lane changes. Do not let rush hour traffic become irritating. Be alert and drive defensively. Always use good judgment in stopping, starting, and turning. Knowing all traffic rules, signs, and signals is helpful. If a motorist must pull off the road, she should always turn on the vehicle's emergency flashers, hazard lights. Keep a safe distance. Do not tailgate. A motorist should always keep a safe distance from other vehicles on the road so that she has plenty of time to react to emergencies. Tailgating refers to following too closely behind a vehicle directly in front. This is a common cause of crashes. Tailgating can cause a series of rear-end crashes when many vehicles are too close together. There should be plenty of space between a motorist's vehicle and others on all sides. A motorist should stay in the middle of the lane and make sure there is enough room to stop or pass safety. 1 car length. Although there is no perfect rule for following distance, the rule of thumb most often used is to keep 1 car length back, about 20 feet, for each 10 miles per hour of speed. At high speeds or in bad weather, following distances should be increased. Space cushion. 1 car length of distance per 10 miles per hour. Keep safe distance. Do not tailgate too close. 3 seconds plus rule. Since most people have trouble judging distances, the 3 seconds plus rule to determine safe distance may be easier to use. It is useful at any speed. Choose some fixed object ahead of the vehicle in front. The object may be a sign or a tree. Make sure the object does not distract attention from driving. As the vehicle in front passes the object, begin counting seconds: 1001, 1002, 1003. If it takes at least 3 seconds before your vehicle passes the object, a motorist should have enough distance for a sudden stop. Practicing safe space management. Following distance is the ability to stop a vehicle safely and smoothly in the event the vehicle in front stops. Stopping distance equals perception distance plus reaction distance plus braking distance. By keeping a foot near the brake, a motorist can reduce reaction distance. Time and distance relationships are designed for the best driving conditions. It should be noted the vehicles might take longer to stop. Try the rule while driving. It can help a motorist develop good judgment for proper following distances. During bad weather, the time interval should be increased to 4 or more seconds. Following distances. While keeping the proper following distance in traffic, the motorist should always know the condition of his/her vehicle's brakes. Test them often. Make sure of the distance it might take to stop. This is very important on wet roads and where there is snow and ice. A motorist should always increase following distance when road conditions are poor. Minimum safe following distance in car lengths. Road condition: 20 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour. Ideal: 2 car lengths, 3, 4, 5. Wet pavement: 4 car lengths, 6, 8, 10. Gravel: 4 car lengths, 6, 8, 10. Packed snow: 6 car lengths, 9, 12. Ice: 12 car lengths, 18. Changing lanes and passing using the proper lane is an important part of defensive driving. Do not straddle a lane. Be alert to traffic behind. When a lane change must be made, look at the rearview mirror or glance behind to check blind spots. Always signal lane changes. Before passing a vehicle or changing lanes, keep the following points in mind: only pass or change lanes when necessary. Only pass or change lanes if the change can be completed without speeding. Keep a safe following distance. Do not tailgate. Check traffic ahead and behind. Only pass when signs and pavement markings permit. Signal every lane change. Signal your return to the right lane. Return to the right lane when well ahead of the vehicle that was passed. A good indication that it is safe to return to the right lane is when the vehicle that was passed is visible in the rearview mirror. Cancel the turn signal. Passed by another vehicle. When a motorist is passed by another vehicle, she must be careful. Stay in the proper lane and slow down to make the pass easier for the other motorist. Return to normal speed after the passing vehicle is well ahead. NJSA 39-4-87 Road conditions. Wet roads. Drive more slowly on wet roads. Stopping and turning should be completed with great care. The 3 seconds plus rule should be increased to 4 or more seconds. Quick turns or changes in speed may cause a vehicle to skid. Hydroplaning. Wet road surfaces can cause tires to hydroplane or ride up on a film of water, starting at about 35 miles per hour, which could cause a motorist to lose control of his/her vehicle. Chances of hydroplaning increase as speeds increase. After 55 miles per hour, tires may totally leave the road surface. If tires totally leave the road surface, braking is virtually impossible, and turning is not possible. A gust of wind, a change in road level or a slight turn can create a skid if a vehicle is hydroplaning. To avoid hydroplaning, do not drive on bald or badly worn tires, and slow down when heavy rain, standing water, or slush is present. In a hydroplaning 35 miles per hour or more 35 miles per hour or less BVMN hydroplaning 110907. 97 Defensive driving. Heavy rainstorm, try to drive on the highest point of the road. For example, use the center lane on a multiple-lane highway, when available. Snow and ice. Winter driving has special dangers, including longer hours of darkness, fog, rain, snow, sleet and ice. Each of these increases the possibility of a crash. A safe motorist is prepared for these types of situations. Before driving in cold weather, start the engine and let it warm up according to manufacturer directions. All snow and ice must be removed from the entire vehicle. New Jersey law states that a motorist is responsible for any ice that flies from his/her vehicle and causes death, injury, or property damage. NJSA 39-4-77.1 Always make sure the vehicle has the proper type of windshield washing fluid. In snow and ice conditions, motorists should take precautions and get a feel for the road. Gently applying the brakes while driving slowly will allow a motorist to find out how slippery the road is. This will also allow the motorist to judge how fast the vehicle can go and still stop safely. A vehicle will skid if a motorist accelerates too quickly, turns too fast, brakes improperly. Motorists who have vehicles with anti-lock brakes (ABS) should keep a foot on the brake pedal and not pump the brakes. Conventional disc and drum brakes require firm, steady pressure on the brake pedal. Hitting the brakes too hard may cause the wheels to lock. If the brakes do lock, release the brake pedal and immediately reapply with slightly less pressure. This process should be repeated with less and less pressure on the brake pedal until the vehicle is under control. Snow tires help driving during the winter months by providing better traction for more controlled starting, steering, and stopping. Snow tires do not provide good traction on ice. Tire chains are the best traction on ice and in hard-packed or deep snow. In New Jersey, motorists may use studded snow tires between November 15 and April 1. To start on snow and ice, keep the engine speed low. If the wheels spin, a lower gear should be used. When stuck, rock the vehicle back and forth by shifting between forward and reverse to escape. Motorists are prohibited from allowing their motor vehicle to idle for more than 3 consecutive minutes. Among the exceptions for this prohibition include motor vehicles stopped in traffic, motor vehicles being repaired, motor vehicles waiting to be inspected, emergency vehicles in emergency situations, and buses while discharging or picking up passengers. NJAC 727-15.8 727-14.3 Reduced visibility. Poor roadway or weather conditions require motorists to increase following distance because rough, wet or snow-covered roads may require more response time. A good rule on snow-covered roads is to maintain a following distance of 6 seconds or more. Frost or ice, always scrape and wipe a vehicle's windows before starting. Turn on the defroster. If the defroster does not work while driving in freezing rain or snow, safely stop the vehicle. Close the windows and let the heater warm up the windows. Fog, always slow down when driving in fog. Headlights should be kept on low beam and fog lights should be turned on, if the vehicle has them. Pavement markings and other vehicle lights can serve as a motorist's guide. Sun glare. Sun visors should always be adjusted to shield a motorist's eyes without cutting off his/her view of the road. Hold the steering wheel firmly and slow down. Watch for lane markings. In all cases, if visibility is greatly reduced, a motorist should stop alongside the road or on the shoulder, out of the way of traffic, and turn on emergency flashers. Night driving. Nearly 90% of driving decisions are based upon what a motorist sees while driving. At night, a motorist's vision is reduced. To drive safely at night, slow down and drive within the range of the vehicle's headlights. A motorist should always be sure the vehicle can stop within the distance that he/she sees ahead. A motorist should always consider the following factors when driving at night: speed, reaction distance, distance traveled before hitting the brake, braking distance, distance needed to completely stop vehicle. Driving and stopping at night. This table shows the distance the average motorist will need to stop while driving at a designated speed using low beams at night. Numbers are based on a motorist's nighttime reaction time of 1.5 seconds. A vehicle travels 88 feet per second at 60 miles per hour. Deceleration is 14 feet per second. Speed reaction distance braking distance stopping distance 20 miles per hour 44 feet 31 feet 75 feet 30 miles per hour 66 feet 69 feet 135 feet 40 miles per hour 88 feet 123 feet 211 feet 50 miles per hour 110 feet 192 feet 302 feet 60 miles per hour 132 feet 277 feet 409 feet 70 miles per hour 154 feet 376 feet 530 feet. Other safety rules for night driving are: drive with the headlights on at dusk, night, dawn, on dark days, and whenever weather conditions reduce visibility to less than 500 feet. State law requires the headlights to be on when windshield wipers are in use. NJSA 39-3-46, drive more slowly than during the daylight. Watch for road signs, slow-moving or unlit vehicles, bicycles, pedestrians, and animals. Allow for more safety margins than you would during daylight. Driving situations. A motorist will come across a number of different driving situations that have their own unique safety concerns or requirements. A motorist must know how to safely navigate his/her vehicle in each of these situations. City driving. When traveling in a city, heavier traffic and more pedestrians require motorists to be very alert. In city traffic, a motorist should try to cooperate with other motorists. Drive more slowly and watch for the movements of others. Motorists must be more careful about pedestrians and less visible vehicles, such as bicycles, mopeds, motorcycles, motorized wheelchairs, and mobility assistance vehicles. Pedestrians and individuals in wheelchairs or mobility assistance vehicles always have the right of way in a crosswalk. Motorists must always stop for pedestrians in a crosswalk, whether the crosswalk is marked or unmarked. A motorist should look at least 12 seconds ahead. This means that she should be able to see an object far enough ahead so that it takes at least 12 seconds to get to it. While driving at 25 miles per hour on a road in a city, a motorist should be able to see about a block ahead. When traffic is heavy, extra time to react is necessary, which means driving more slowly. By reducing speed, a motorist gains time. On city streets, a motorist will pass through intersections very often. Many new motor ISDS fail to see intersections. A motorist should always consider the following safety tips.